Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of WordPress plugin development. Today we are going to learn how to create custom settings page from your plugin by using Settings API of WordPress. So let's begin. One more thing, if you guys missed the previous videos of this series, then you can find those out in the suggested videos section in the upper right corner of your screen. And if you are new to this channel, please do subscribe and hit the bell icon to get the latest videos on time. Alright guys, so let's begin by creating a folder in the INC folder. So let's name it settings, and inside the settings folder let's create a file and name it settings as well, settings.php. Alright, now let's open the PHP tag and let's create a menu first so that we can click on that menu and show our things there. So let's say create settings menu. So let's create the function here. Let's say my plugin settings menu, and we are going to add this with an action, and the action name is admin menu, and then we are gonna hook this with our function. Sorry, it should be my plugin settings menu, and paste it here. And now let's use the add menu page function from the WordPress. Sorry, add menu page, and we need to pass some parameters here, and the first parameter is the title of the page. So let's do like this, and the title should be my plugin settings, and then our text domain name, and the next one is the menu label, so let's keep those same, and the next one is the capability, so manage options, then the slug, so let's say my plugin settings page, and the next one is the template, so my plugin settings template callback, and the next one is for the icon URL, so let's keep it blank, and the next one let's keep it null. Alright, so by doing this we should see a menu in our backend, but before that we need to add this settings page into our my plugin PHP. So let's add that. Say include settings page, let's say require once my plugin path, and say inc settings, then settings.php. So let's head over into the backend and hit refresh to see what happened. Alright, so as you can see, my plugin settings has been added. Now if we click on that, it's gonna take us to this flag, my plugin settings page, and it is expecting a function that we are just defined but not used it. So let's do that. Let's create another function, settings template page. So let's create the function and copy the URL name from here, and let's add something to test it out. To my settings page. So let's check that out. Hit refresh, and as you can see, it is loaded. So now let's adjust our UI a bit, so it can look like a native WordPress page. So let's provide a div with a class wrap div. Alright, and let's add h1 title, and inside the h1 we're gonna use ESC HTML function, and we're gonna use a method called get admin page title. So it will echo out the page title. So let's check that out. We hit refresh, and it is saying my plugin settings. So it by using the wrapper class, it gives us a nice padding around the content, and the title is also added some styles. It is coming from WordPress. So now let's open a form tag and say options.php, and the method is the post. It's post actually, yes, because we are posting the data. And inside here we're gonna add some code in later part. So let's move on into the next function, by which we are going to add setting options in this page. So let's move on to that. Let's say settings template plt, and let's create the function my plugin settings, let's say init, and this functions is gonna hook with a or trigger with a hook when the hook is triggered or run. So the hook name is admin init, and let's put our method here. Alright, so in order to create a settings page, we have 3 steps basically. First we need to define the settings section, and then we need to register a setting field, and then we need to add a settings field. So 3 steps: register add the settings section, register the setting, and then add the setting field. So let's begin with set up the settings section. So let's use add settings section, and it's gonna have some parameters. So let's open the browser actually and see the documentation first. So if we search for add settings section here and go into the first link, as you can see, it takes ID as a first parameter, then the title, then the callback, and then the page. So as you can see, all of them actually required ID. You need to use ID as well. You need to use title, callback, and the page. So let's go back to the code editor and let's start providing our data here. So the So the first one is the ID, so let's provide the ID, and the ID is my plugin settings section. Alright, and the next one is the title of that section. So let's provide the title. So let's say my plugin, not pi plugin, it's my plugin settings page. Alright, so the next one is the callback. So for now let's keep it blank, and the next one is the page select. That means in which page we want to display it. So our page flag is my plugin settings page. So let's copy that and paste it here. Alright, so the next step is to register a field. So let's say we want to add an input field first. So say register input field. So register settings, this is the setting, this is the function we need to use, and here it also gonna need some parameters to pass. So the first one is the page flag, that where we are going to show it. So it is my plugin settings page, and then the function that is gonna by which we are justifying that which field we need to register. So let's put my plugin settings input field. Alright, and the next one, it's an array. It's gonna take some parameters. First you can define the type of data here. This time we want string data, and the next one is the sanitize callback function, so that we can sanitize the data that is provided us. So let's use the WordPress sanitizer function, like sanitize text field, FILT, and we can also provide a default value. Let's put it like blank. Okay, so our field has been registered. Then we can add the settings field here, and we need to use add settings field method, and it also takes some parameters as well. So the first one is the ID, that should match with the register settings option name, should be input, so we need to match with that. Alright, and the second one is the title. So let's say like input field and the text domain, and the third one is the callback function that gonna use for loading or creating the HTML for this template, for this input field. So let's say my plugin settings input field callback. Okay, the next one should be the page ID that we are gonna show it. So this is our page ID, and the next one is the section ID. So let's add it here. Alright. The next thing that we need to do is to create the callback template. So let's create a function here, settings input field template. Let's create the function, and it is my plugin settings input field callback, and let's create our template first, and it is an input field, and we're gonna name it like my plugin settings input field, and class, let's use the WordPress native class regular text, and its value, we will provide value here, and also we need to say that type is text. Alright, so this is our field name, and let's grab the value now. My plugin input field equal to get option, and the option name is this one. So we actually kept the name same here so that we do not mismatch with this. So let's put it here, and let's print the value into the value attribute. So let's do like this, echo if it is exist, if is set this, then let's wrap this text. So then we are gonna use esc attr. So what it does, it will escape the value, and it will keep as and keep this value like if you provide an attribute value into the attribute section, then it will make that value that gonna work like attribute, so that you cannot interpolate any other things here. So else let's put blank. So this is how you can create your first input field and assign this into the into a settings page section. So let's head over into the backend and hit refresh, and as you can see, it is showing nothing because we need to do some more things. So let's head over into the code editor, and here we need to define some things in order to show our content into that page. So first what we will do, we will add a security hidden field that WordPress provides us. So let's open the PHP, let's first close the PHP tag and open it. Okay, okay, I'm doing it wrong actually. So let's provide this security field first, and it is the settings field that's gonna take a string. So let's provide our page string here. So okay, and then we need to call the section that we are gonna show here. So let's do the output settings section here, and it is do settings section. This is the do settings sections, it should say, and here we need to pass this section ID. So our section ID is my plugin settings section, and finally we need to add a submit button or save settings button, and we're gonna use submit button method. Because why we are using this method, because by using this method we will have a WP nonce field by default from the WordPress settings API. So let's say save settings, and now let's go into the backend and hit refresh. Then let's see what happened. As you can see, the save settings buttons has appeared, but the settings field is still not appearing. So let's head over into the code editor. Actually, what we did wrong, we need to pass this page ID into the do settings section, and then if we go back and hit refresh, as you can see, our field has been appearing. So now if we provide some value here and hit save settings, and as you can see, the value has been saved successfully. If we refresh it, and the value stays, so our value is saving successfully. So let's head over into the code editor and add another field so that we will feel comfortable with this coding. So let's try to add a text area this time. So for adding text area, we need to use register settings and the settings field as well. So let's copy the register settings section first and put it here, and let's say register text area, and we're gonna keep this one same, and we need to change my plugin settings input field to text area. Sorry, not the test area but text area, and it is also a string value, and this time we wanna use sanitize text area field of WordPress. So now the next thing is we need to use this for adding this settings field. So let's copy and add let's say text area field, and let's add text field, and here we need to change text area, and let's say text area field, and my plugin settings input callback function. So let's say text area field callback function, and this one is the page flag, and this one is the section flag. So what we are doing, if we recap it again, we register a settings section, and we provide a URL, provide a flag that is the page flag, and then the option name for that field, and we are defining the value type and using the sanitize text area field and keeping our type to string because it's a string value. And when we are ready to add the field, then we are providing the settings field ID, and that's gonna need to match with the register settings option name, and the next one is the level, and the next one is the callback for the text area template, and the next one is the page ID, and the next one is the section ID that need to match up with the add section settings, where we have defined that settings ID, section ID. And let's create the template for this. So let's name it text area template. Then we can say like text template here as well. Alright, so let's copy this function, just change the input to text area field callback. So here let's define our template first. Let's say text area, and let's provide the name here, and we are going to keep the name as same as this one. So, and then we are gonna use a class here, and the class for this will be large text, and this is a WordPress CSS class, and let's say rows of 10 rows. We will use 10 rows, and next one is the value. But before that, let's grab the value. So my plugin input field, this time we are not gonna say input field, let's say text area field, and let's grab the value by get option, and the option name is this one because we have matched it with this one. So here we are gonna provide the value. So echo is set my plugin, or just copy this, my plugin text area. If it is set, then we are gonna use esc text area method, and the string is then if we not found it, then it will keep it blank. Alright, so I think we are done with the text area as well. So let's head over into the backend and hit refresh again. Yes, our field is appeared. Now let's test with the test value again, test text area value, and let's hit save, and as you can see, the value has been saved. So let's move on and try to add a select field this time. So similarly, let's copy the register section here, register select field, select option field, and let's keep this one same, and let's say select field, and its value is also let's provide a string value right for now, and because okay, we can use like this. Okay, now let's copy this section in order to add a settings field here. So add, let's say okay, and let's say we are adding the select field. So select field and select field, and also change this one to select field as well. And now let's copy this function because we need to create the template. So let's say select template, and let's create the function here. Let's copy this one, let's change this text area to select, and let's put the template for this select as well, select field, select. Okay, and let's provide a name here, and let's keep this sync with this name, and class, let's say regular text. Alright, and let's provide the value here first. Option it's blank, so let's say select one and duplicate this two, and say let's just provide the like option 1, and option 1, let's duplicate this one and delete this one. Let's just change 2 and 2 here. Alright, so let's grab the value, my plugin select value, select field, just then get option, and this one the option name. So when I grab the value, we need to show the selected value as well. So WordPress does have a function and it is called selected, and the first parameter is the value that should match up with, and the second parameter is the value that you are getting. So let's copy it and just paste it here. So then copy this one and paste it here as well. Okay, and this time it is option 2. Okay, so let's head over into the backend again and hit refresh, and as you can see our select field has been appeared. So let's select option 1 and hit save, and it should be selected as it is. And if we select option 2 and save, and it is also selected as well. So our select field has also been done. Now let's move into the code editor and this time add a radio field. So how we can do that? So I'll just copy both this function, paste it here, and say radio. Okay, and this time just change the radio, and it is also, let's say, string value radio. So okay, it is a radio field and radio field callback. Let's copy this one and say radio field template. Provide the function here, and let's provide the template as well. And this is a radio field, so let's put a label here first for okay, and here let's provide the input, and the type is radio, and then the name, and we're gonna match up with the provided name. Okay, should be radio field like this. This is the name, and let's provide a value, let's say value 1. Okay, and this is for the value 1. Let's duplicate this one, and this is for the value 2, and name will be same. Let's grab the value now. So my plugin, the input field, but the radio field, and get option. Okay, now the option name is this one, so let's provide it, and hence we have grab the value. So, and we need to show the checked value as well. So WordPress does have a function for that too, and the function name is checked. Okay, similarly the first value is the value that you want to match up with, and the second one is your value. So let's copy that and paste it here and change the value 1 to value 2. Alright, so let's go back into the backend and hit refresh. Okay, we haven't added any label though, so let's say the value 1, and let's say the value 2. Okay, so let's head over into the backend and hit refresh. So the value is appeared, but because it's a radio field, it's the standard thing is selected, make one value selected. So let's go back into the default value section, and we can say the value 1 should be default. So let's hit refresh, and as you can see the value 1 is default, but if we change to value 2 and save, and if you refresh, the value stays. So it is working nicely. So we have done the text field, the text area, the select field, and the radio field as well. Hence the video is getting longer. I'm stopping it right here. In the next part of this video, I will show you how you can add an image uploader by using WordPress native media uploader. So till then, keep practicing. See you in the next one.